Empires rise and fall. But few nations have transformed the course of human history quite like the United States of America. Born from revolution, built on ideals of liberty and democracy, and forged through struggle, innovation, and power. This is the story of how a group of colonies became the world's most influential superpower. Welcome to Global Legacy, and this is the complete history of the United States, from revolution to superpower.
It began with 13 small colonies on the eastern coast of North America. In 1607, the English founded Jamestown, the first permanent British settlement in the New World. For over a century, these colonies grew, each with its own culture, economy, and beliefs. But they shared one frustration: the distant rule of the British Crown. Taxes without representation, trade restrictions, royal interference. By the mid-18th century, discontent turned to defiance. In 1775, shots were fired at Lexington and Concord. The American Revolution had begun. Under the leadership of George Washington, farmers and merchants became soldiers. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson, boldly announced that all men are created equal. Against all odds, the colonists defeated the mightiest empire on earth.
Allied with nations like France, the rebels turned hope into victory. Freedom was earned through sacrifice, and a new nation was born. In Philadelphia, leaders gathered to craft a new constitution, a blueprint for democracy. And in 1789, George Washington was sworn in as the nation's first president. The United States of America had begun, a republic founded on freedom and the promise of a new world.
In the early 1800s, America was still young, quiet, hopeful, and eager to define itself. As families moved westward, the promise of a new life stretched far beyond the horizon. With the Louisiana Purchase, the United States doubled in size, transforming destiny overnight. Frontier life was demanding, but for many, it represented freedom and opportunity. But for Native peoples, westward expansion brought displacement and deep loss. In the North, industry grew rapidly, powered by iron, steam, and ambition. Cities exploded with energy, invention, and the dreams of those seeking a better future. But in the South, life was built on a different foundation, one dependent on slave labor. Two economies emerged, one powered by freedom, the other by bondage. In Congress, the question of slavery ignited fierce disagreement and political turmoil. Abolitionists rose to challenge injustice, demanding freedom for the enslaved. But the path to justice came with a heavy human cost, written in pain and sacrifice. Through newspapers and public speeches, the call for change spread across the nation. Tensions grew darker, and the nation braced itself for an unavoidable conflict. By 1860, America stood divided, its future uncertain, and civil war on the horizon.
In 1861, the nation shattered as southern states broke away from the Union. President Abraham Lincoln faced the impossible task of saving a divided country. The first shots of the Civil War thundered at Fort Sumter. Families were torn apart as Americans fought Americans. The Civil War became the bloodiest conflict in American history. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring freedom for enslaved people. Gettysburg marked a turning point and Lincoln reminded the nation of its founding ideals. The Union applied total war, breaking the South's ability to fight. Hundreds of thousands paid the ultimate price. Victory came at a terrible moment. Lincoln was assassinated just days after the war ended. The South lay in ruins, its economy shattered, and its people devastated. Reconstruction sought to rebuild the South and redefine what freedom meant. Formerly enslaved people gained new rights, voting, education, and representation. But progress met fierce resistance, sparking violence and political turmoil. By 1877, Reconstruction ended, but America was forever transformed. The nation rose from war with renewed energy and the promise of progress.
Steel rails bound a continent together and opened new frontiers.
Cities reached skyward as steel and steam redefined the American dream. Industry created fortunes that made a few rich and left millions struggling. In the factories of progress, the American worker became its engine. Yet, behind every innovation stood the hands of the young and the poor. America bridged its rivers and its people with iron and determination. From distant shores they came, millions seeking a new beginning. At Ellis Island, hope and anxiety met beneath the same roof. Cultures mixed and blended, forging a new identity called American. Reformers rose to challenge injustice and demand a fairer society. Schools multiplied, opening doors to a new generation of dreamers. Voices for women and workers echoed across the streets of change.
Electric light turned night to day and ushered in the modern age.
By 1914, America stood transformed, an industrial power with boundless dreams. In 1914, a spark in Europe ignited a conflict that would soon engulf the world. When America entered the Great War in 1917, it brought strength and hope to weary allies. Across the Atlantic, young soldiers faced a new kind of war, fought in mud, fear, and endless waiting. In 1918, the guns fell silent, and the world dared to dream of peace. The 1920s roared with music, energy, and the spirit of endless possibility. But in 1929, the stock market crashed, and prosperity turned to panic overnight. Unemployment soared. Millions lost homes, jobs, and hope. In the Dust Bowl, nature itself seemed to turn against the people. President Franklin Roosevelt offered a New Deal, rebuilding not just the economy, but the nation's spirit. But even as America recovered, the world fell back into darkness. On December 7, 1941, America was attacked at Pearl Harbor and drawn into another world war. America became the arsenal of democracy, turning factories of peace into engines of war. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, Allied courage began to turn the tide. In 1945, victory came at an immense cost. Freedom won through sacrifice. By the war's end, the United States stood as a global superpower, and the modern world had begun.
With World War II over, a new struggle began. One fought not on battlefields, but across ideas. The Cold War emerged, a tense rivalry defined by nuclear fear and global power. Nations battled in shadows, through spies, secrets, and silent maneuvering. Competition reached the stars as superpowers raced to conquer space. In 1969, humanity took a giant leap, proving that exploration could rise above conflict. At home, millions marched to end segregation and demand equality. Ordinary citizens showed extraordinary courage in the face of injustice. New laws opened doors, guaranteeing voting rights, equal access, and civil liberties. America transformed again, from factory floors to the dawn of the digital age. Music, film, and television reshaped culture, giving voice to new generations. America's influence expanded, economically, culturally, and technologically. But the Cold War's reach extended into distant conflicts that shaped nations. Walls of division began to crumble, and the world moved toward hope. By 1991, the Cold War ended, not with victory in battle, but with the promise of peace. A new era began, one shaped by freedom, innovation, and the voices of millions. As the Cold War ended, a new chapter opened for the United States. Technology reshaped daily life as computers moved from labs into homes and offices. The internet connected people in ways once unimaginable. American cities grew rapidly, fueled by innovation and new industries. Tragedy struck, testing the nation's resilience and unity. America responded with resolve, reshaping security at home and abroad. Technology advanced at lightning speed, transforming how the world works. The United States became a centerpiece of global trade, culture, and technology. New generations raised their voices for equality, justice, and change. The nation faced new challenges, environmental, social, and economic. In times of crisis, Americans showed resilience and compassion. A new space age began, driven by innovation and exploration. America grew more diverse, shaped by cultures from every corner of the globe. Technology and creativity powered a new economy built for the digital age. Today, the United States continues to evolve, shaped by innovation, challenges, and the dreams of millions.
As a new century unfolds, the future of America begins with possibility. Clean energy transforms the landscape, powering homes, cities, and industries. Artificial intelligence becomes a partner in work, creativity, and daily life. A fully connected nation brings people closer through speed, information, and innovation. Medicine evolves with breakthroughs that prolong life and improve health. Cities grow greener, embracing sustainability as a way of life. Transport is reinvented, safer, smarter, and autonomous. Space becomes a new frontier for travel, science, and imagination. Education expands through technology, reaching every student in new ways. Work becomes more flexible, creative, and global. Diversity strengthens the nation, shaping identity through many cultures and voices. Across borders, cooperation becomes essential for solving global challenges. New challenges emerge, environmental, digital, and societal, requiring unity and resilience. Innovation becomes the key to solving problems and inspiring new dreams. And as the future unfolds, the story of America continues, guided by invention, determination, and the imagination of its people.
From humble beginnings to global influence, America's story is one of transformation. But history never ends. It continues through the choices we make today. This has been Global Legacy. Subscribe and continue exploring the stories that shaped our world.